Hi guys, it's Sandy. I'm going to share the easiest bread recipe that you could ever do. Now, you might be a beginner, you might be somebody that's like, I cannot make bread. Believe me, anybody can make this bread recipe. I used to think I couldn't make bread either until I found this, and it is so simple. There's only 4 ingredients, and one of those ingredients is water. So what you're going to need is flour, salt of some kind, yeast, and water, and that's it. So let me show you how to do this. This will be great before the holidays too. You can make some bread for all kinds of dinners. Okay, so this is all it is. First, we're going to take 1/4 teaspoon of active yeast. Now this is the yeast that I buy for the bread, and I buy the fast rising whenever I'm doing pizza dough, but the active yeast is what I do for bread. You buy this, put it in the refrigerator, it is gonna last for a really long time. A package has a couple teaspoons in it. You don't need 2 teaspoons, you need 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I opened up one package and I put it into my pantry so that I have at least 1 thing of yeast that I can always get into. So 1/4 thing of yeast, 1 teaspoon of salt. I prefer Himalayan, the sea salts, so that's what I ground up ahead of time, but you can just use what's in your pantry. Use the regular salt if you want to, the iodized salt. And the last thing you're gonna need is, well, not the last, water too, but the last ingredient from your pantry shelf is flour. So today I'm just gonna make a white bread, so I'm just going to use 3 cups of white flour, but sometimes I will do a little bit of wheat in there too, and you can do that. The only thing is don't use 3 cups of wheat flour or you will have, it's just tough, really tough bread. So I'll do 1 cup of wheat to 2 cups of white flour. Right now though, I'm doing all white bread, so I'm gonna do 3 cups of flour in here. And the last thing is warm water, 1.5 cups of warm water. Now, you'll want to touch this water. Cold water will work, but it takes a really long time to activate yeast if you use cold water. So warm water is what activates yeast. So if you touch it and you're like, oh, that feels good, that's not too hot, then a nice warm water will get this bread working. Boiling water will completely kill your yeast, so don't use that. But just in warm water, you touch and it feels good. So I'm pouring in my 1.5 cups of water. And now I just simply stir it up together. That's it. It's that simple, you guys. Just stir it around. This is a really sticky dough, and that's the way you want it to be. It's a sticky bread that you don't have to knead, and because of that, it takes no time to put this together. You're using ingredients that are right on your pantry shelves. So bread is very economical to make, and it also tastes really good, and you don't have any preservatives in it to keep it on the shelf for a long time. So you're going to make this and you're going to eat it. In a couple days, you actually want to eat this bread. So you can see that it's just a sticky dough. That's what you want, a sticky consistency right here. It's sticky enough to stick to my spatula, but not so watery that it's water. So what you want to do is just if your bread is looking a little bit watery because of where you live in different altitudes, then add a couple tablespoons of flour. And if it looks too dry, then add another tablespoon of water to it. So you just got to look at it. This is the consistency you want it to be, is a sticky dough. Now just get a piece of saran wrap or a towel, something to cover this up, and you're just going to put it on your countertop. You don't have to find a warm place or anything like that. It's just on the countertop. Don't put it in a cold place or it won't rise, but just a place on your countertop in the kitchen. And now I need to let that rise. I like to do it for like around 8 hours or 12 hours. So I'll make up the bread and let it sit overnight and bake it the next day. You can wait up to 24 hours. It's a very forgiving dough. So wait however long you need to. 8 hours is about the minimum that I wait though. So here is what the bread looks like now. See all the bubbles that are popping up? I actually went ahead and made 2. That's why you see 2 different bowls here. I did 2 because I wanted to put them in 2 different pans to show you, a bread pan and also a Dutch oven. And I wanted to show you the difference because not everybody has a Dutch oven, but they'll have a lot of bubbles. It's going to be really sticky whenever I show you how to use this. And I think I'm just going to gift one of these to my neighbor. So now I'm ready to bake the bread. It is the next day. Get a knife, make sure you have a clean area, and no kneading, remember, but you do need to get it ready for the next step. So I'm just going to put a little bit of flour out onto my area, move that around, Okay, so first I'm gonna just take it out of here because you can see through this bowl, and you just release the sides. You can see how sticky it is. And since it is such a sticky dough, you could also put a little bit of flour into your bowl to get it out. So here's one. Let me go ahead and get out the other one while I'm at it. I'm gonna put just a little bit of flour in this one along the top, just so whenever I pull it away from the sides, the flour will get down in there a little bit. So here I go, just pulling it away from the sides with my knife again. And now for about 10 to 20 seconds, I need to work the dough. So I'm gonna put flour on top of both of these, and then you just start moving it around, making sure that all of the surface gets flour onto it. We're not kneading it, we're just moving it around to get the flour onto it. And that quickly, I'm almost done with the first one, and then I'm just gonna go over and do the second one. See? Perfect bread right there. Get more flour in my hands, just move it around for 10 to 20 seconds and get it into a perfect shape. Now we need to cover the dough and let it sit for 30 minutes. I just use the bowls to recover it. In the meantime, set your oven to 450 degrees, and I'm going to use a Dutch oven, and also I'm going to use a bread pan because I told you I wanted to show you both because not everybody has a Dutch oven. Now put your pans into the oven while the oven is cold. It needs to heat up the pans the whole time up to the 450 degrees. Looks like I better clean my oven. So after 30 minutes of it sitting, then the bread is ready, and look at it. It's already raised up a little bit more. So now it's ready to put into the pans and bake. So these are extremely hot. Make sure and use your oven mitts to get them out. So you can use parchment paper, but I don't use parchment paper. I have these silicone mats that I use for everything, so that's what I'm gonna put the bread on. You don't need to grease it that way, and we're not gonna grease this one either, but what I'm gonna use, you could use a cornmeal, or you could just use a dusting of flour on the bottom. So I'm gonna just dust the bottom of this one with some flour. This one I'm going to leave just the way so that I can show you how it works with just the silicone mat. So the first one I'm just sticking down in here. It is still a sticky dough. Just kind of spread it out a little bit so it makes into a loaf. And here's the second one. It's sticky. I'm just sticking it down in here. Just kind of move it around a little bit. Okay, and then putting my gloves back on because these are extremely hot. I'm going to cover this back up. And if you have another bread pan, you can put the bread pan on top. I don't, so I'm just covering it with this lid. So it goes into the oven for 30 minutes, and then cover it and make sure that your handles are oven safe so that they do not melt in the oven. Don't put anything plastic in there. Okay, so 30 minutes, and then I'll show you how to do the rest of it. 16 seconds left, and look at my oven. If anybody knows how to clean a stovetop just from where things have boiled over, will you please let me know your secret? I just don't know how to get all of that yuck off. So with the lids on, the bread has steamed, and now we want to get it a crispy golden brown top. So you want to take off the lids and then leave it in for 10 more minutes. After 10 minutes, it's time to come out, and it is a beautiful, crusty artisan bread. This one got a little bit brown on top, but I'll just take that off. Look how beautiful this bread is. And look how simple it is to get it out of the pans. It comes out so easily. So I'll take that crusty top off the top, the black part. You can just hear the crunch of the crust. It is so pretty. I'm going to leave it sit here for about an hour so that it's cool enough to actually cut. Don't try to cut it right now. It's just way too hot. So you saw how easy this is. It is very inexpensive to make. If something happens, you can't get out and get bread, then you can make your own bread at home. It's just beautiful. You're going to impress your family and friends, and it tastes so good. Okay, that's it for now. Hit like and subscribe below, and until next time, I'm out.